Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the Morning Mindset. This is time for you and I to get our minds aligned with the truth of God. And if you've been listening to the last 4 or 5 episodes of the Morning Mindset, you know that when I say those words, it does not mean we're going to have some touchy-feely kind of a conversation here where you get all inspired and feel good at the end. Not at all. These last 5 episodes have been some of the hardest that I can remember having to teach through. And the reason is simple. They deal with very difficult issues. The issues we're talking about are the issues of abuse and injustice and being treated wrong as an individual. Because that's what Peter was talking about in 1 Peter chapter 2. He lived in a culture where slavery existed, and so that's where he begins his discussion of how we're to handle injustice. But he couches it all in a topic or a conversation that is bigger than that of injustice. You know, we hear a lot in our culture about social injustice and about people being treated right and those who are on the margin, who are marginalized being brought back into the fold. And we hear the word inclusion all the time. And I agree that those are important topics. But my friends, can I say something to you based on the scriptures? Those are not the biggest topics. Those are not the ones that matter the most. They're included in the conversation, to be sure. But Peter is saying what matters more than all of that is how we as believers in Jesus Christ are serving others for the glory of God. And that is not a trite statement. That's not a religious statement. That is a very intentional statement that I'm making today. We as believers in Christ are called to be like Christ. That means we serve others like he served. That's the whole point of the end of 1 Peter chapter 2. Peter says, if we are going to be like Jesus, it's going to include stepping into places of service that are not always comfortable, that our culture says we should not have to step into, that nevertheless are places God himself has deemed are not only our calling to step into, but our right for us to step into. My friends, that is a tall order. And getting our minds wrapped around that is a lifelong process. It's not just something a 5-minute morning mindset can help us do. We've got to adjust our paradigm and our thinking. It's no longer just a religious thing that we're to do good in the world, and that's what Christians are called to do. We got to go deeper. We got to ask, how do we do that good? In what manner do we do good? And Peter is saying it's in the manner of service. It's in submitting our rights to the needs of others. Now hear that carefully. It's not that we're submitting our rights to the rights of others. No, it's not that kind of thing. It's we who are saved, who are called, who are forgiven, extend those gifts that we've received to other people through serving them, just like Jesus served us by dying on the cross unjustly. We take up his mantle. We put on his coat. We walk in his shoes, and we deliver the good news to others in the skin of service. I just want to let that sink in for a moment. If you have not had that attitude and that mindset, you need to really think it through. Christianity is not a feel-good religion, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for people who just want their problems fixed. Because I can guarantee you that when you become a believer in Christ, you will have a whole new set of problems that honestly are much harder to deal with. Because you have to learn to walk according to the power of the Spirit of God rather than according to the power of your flesh, which wants retribution and revenge and to assert its rights. That is not who we are called to be. My friends, if you have not heard this entire series on service so far, go back to the episode in your podcast player or app that is entitled Peter's Powerful Use of the S Word and begin listening there. And join me again tomorrow as we step into another controversial aspect of this massive topic.